Hello everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. Not every Stephen King story sets out to scare you with a clown, a telekinetic teen girl, or even a daunting hotel visit. His dramatic character studies are just as engaging. The latest page-to-screen adaptation is Mr. Harrigan's Phone. It's streaming on Netflix and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's trip to the movies. Like most Stephen King stories, it's set in Maine, with our protagonist Craig, who's played by Jaeden Martell, setting the scene of what and who lives in the town of Harlow. He reflects on the what if, the why me of why he was chosen by Mr. Harrigan, who's played by Donald Sutherland. Now, he's the richest guy in Maine and hires Craig to read to him in his final years of his life. Now, reading books like Heart of Darkness and They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Bring about the life lessons that he needs to learn from his elderly mentor. It's a stark contrast from the bullies at school who are quick to tease and harass Craig. Now, Craig gives Mr. Harrigan his first iPhone, but soon after Mr. Harrigan dies, Craig keeps getting texts from Mr. Harrigan's phone, as if he's communicating from beyond the grave. Mr. Harrigan's Phone is written and directed by John Lee Hancock, who adapted it from the 80-page novella found in If It Bleeds. Now, while this does have elements of a supernatural angle, don't expect big jump scares, as it's not that kind of King story. Hancock sets out to expand on King's novella and reminds us that while he may take on an inexplainable aura, he still finds the heart and the character study within that. Hancock captures that look and feel that we've come to expect with that main setting that King utilizes. It really has that small town feel like a Castle Rock or Derry. There's a lot of narration up front with Craig detailing this community. Now, it's a storytelling device in movies that's too easy to rely on, but you can almost hear King writing his novella like this. Jaeden Martell, who also starred in the recent adaptations of Stephen King's It, easily finds Craig's loneliness. Martell has an innocence about him, while he brings so much heart and soul to carry this movie. There's a really endearing quality in the relationship that forms between Craig and Mr. Harrigan, like a grandfather and grandson. Now, we might be conditioned to think of this as maybe creepy or weird, but it really is an innocent transaction of time and life lessons. Now, it's 45 minutes in before Mr. Harrigan dies, and it's not really a spoiler, but Hancock takes his time to really build up this unlikely friendship. The second half almost feels like a completely different movie, as Craig starts to feel the sense of paranoia take over. He wrestles with the messages that he thinks he's getting from Mr. Harrigan, but can't make sense of them. Is Craig making all of this up in his head? Is it coincidence, or is it even real? Hancock seems to keep it vague for the audience, wanting us to navigate it within ourselves, instead of explaining the supernatural and the unexplained phenomenon of what happens in the second act. At least that's how I interpreted it. He and King are more concerned with its themes of grief, the actions that we take in response to death, and that eternal longing for one more conversation, one more piece of advice. It got me thinking about my own grandparents and the conversations that I wish I could still have with them. Mr. Harrigan's Phone isn't as strong in the second act, but Jaeden Martell's performance and the banter between him and Donald Sutherland is still one worthy of a watch. I'm giving Mr. Harrigan's Phone 3 out of 5 ticket stubs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I got some other movie reviews, as well as some interviews with Jaeden Martell and John Lee Hancock, so you definitely want to check those out. I think you'll really enjoy them, especially if you're a King fan. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Paul's Movie Trip. I'd love to hear from you. What has been your favorite page-to-screen adaptation of Stephen King work? And then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for even more reviews. Thank you so much for watching my review of Mr. Harrigan's Phone. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.